Hi guys, and welcome to the detailed guide video for the newest class of Dragon Radio Inkmancer. Now let's jump right into this. So I want to apologize first of all. I don't know how long this video will be, mainly because I'm having some issues with my throat, so my voice might cut out at some part. I'll try to talk as clearly as possible. Alright, that being said, let's jump right into about this class. This is a magic class and it is a water element class, but unlike the Soul Dancer, this is not a pure support class. It has the control of the Soul Dancer and the damage of the Dragon Rider. So yes, this is an overpowered class. It has the ability to stun the opponent, time lock the opponent, to silence the opponent. It can do all of that, and it is the only class I've seen right now out of every other class in the game that can literally eat a Blade Master's HP. I'm gonna use this just to protect myself a little. I haven't used this stuff. Oh, I've used it now. Thank it, I didn't want to use it now. I was pressing the wrong skill. I'm gonna give myself. Did I get the shield? I didn't get the shield from that one. Yep, you're dead. No! Stop! That's shooting, you're dead! Ah! Stop! Wait, wait! Ah! No! You're dead! Yo! That's shooting! From full HP, this class can remove a Blade Master with all their dodge and everything to almost 0 health, and it is also the only class I know that can have its health at literally almost dead and still come back and kill you and probably have more health than the opponent at the end of the battle. So based on this, you already know this class is a big glass cannon, means its survivability is very low, but there are various ways this class has to cover up for its survivability. So that's basically about this class. Also, one thing you should know, it does attack with the freaking paintbrush. Just picture yourself, as I'm going to explain the skills and everything about this class, picture yourself as a calligrapher or a painter, because that would make things a lot easier for you. Also, one more thing before we go into the skills of this class, this is, I think, the main summoner class of this game. We have the puppeteer does not count, okay? We do not count the puppeteer. That thing is barely summoning any stuff. But anyway, this class is a true summoner, and you see it right now as we have jumped right into the skill section of this class. Now, this class has 5 skills, and these are the main skills. Of course, we have the default attacks, and you do not switch skills. So what you see is what you get. Right now, I will also explain the rotation of the skills in this skill section, so please try not to be confused. So each of these skills will be painted into this canvas. Now, of course, the first time you tap these skills, it will not be painted in this canvas. So the first skill right down here is the summoning of the wolf. This summons the wolf, and right now, that is the wolf. So you summon the wolf with this first skill. Again, this is the rotation you will use, and then you summon the snake. You saw I had a shield. I will explain that very soon, and that's a snake. And then you go for the fourth skill, which summons a golem. I got another shield. After you've done these 3 summons, you can now use the third skill that summons a tree. There we go, and that's the tree next to me. So what this does is the wolf attacks, of course. The snake poisons and deals the most damage out of everything, or every of your skill, and the golem actually can stun your opponents, and the tree gives you a buff for every summoned creature you have out. That is why we press the tree last, because you want to have every summoned creature out before you buff yourself, and then the tree gives you the buff for every of the summoned creature. And now the 5th skill gives you a shield. You're gonna see a shield on me. That is the shield. For every summoned creature you have out on the field, you get a shield. And if you do not have any summoned creature when you use that shield, you get 0 absorption damage for your shield. So you get a shield still, but the damage it absorbs is basically 0. Here you see, it's 0. It was 3 million before, but now it's 0. And I'm gonna do that again just to let you guys see. There we go. This is the shield. And there we go, it gives you 3.4 million damage for me having all 4 summoned creatures out there. So now that we've understood what each of these skill does, or the first stage of each of these skill does, let's go about to the second stage and the canvas right here. Alright, so to tap on this, let's summon all of this. Again, I got some shields, I'm going to explain what the shield does. And there we go. Now, after you've tapped the skills the first time, the second time you tap any of the skills, you paint them onto this canvas. So the wolf will paint the sky or clouds. It and the snake are interchangeable, and you see the clouds right there. And the golem will paint mountains on your canvas. And then you have the tree right here that will paint some water. And then if you come back here to any of them, the wolf or the snake, you're going to transform into a dragon right here. And if you come to either of these, preferably the golem, is going to form a tree right here. And when you have all of this, each of these painting on your canvas increases your damage by 20%. And yes, you can tap on the canvas. There you go, that's the canvas skill. You can tap on it, and imagine all 5 of those increase your damage. That's 100% increase in damage. And exactly how much damage will that do? That's 6 million plus 9 million damage. That's a lot of damage from just that. And of course, now I'm going to explain what all those shields you saw on me when I was tapping some of these skills. Sometimes I gain a shield. That is an immunity shield, and what it does is every time you are being attacked while that shield is on, you take 0 damage. Yes, so that's literally what compensates for this class being immune. And also, yes, depending on your talent and deep challenge and stuff, the scroll will also give you a shield. So this class can be quite annoying to kill. Also, based on everything I've explained, I'm guessing you already understand the rotation. It's going to be the first skill, the second skill, the fourth skill, and finally the third skill. After you've done all of this, you can then press the 5th skill to gain a shield based on all of this. Now, the time you are to use your layered die, which is this one right here, is up to you actually, but I prefer painting some more pictures on the layered die before I use it, just so I can deal more damage instead of the regular damage of 6 million plus 9 million. Imagine 6 million plus 9 million and 100% more of both damage. That's a lot better, right? Okay, now that we've talked about the skills, let's jump into the stats. As you can see, this class is based on magic attack and multi-strike. The cooldown or CDR does not affect the cooldown time of your skills. What CDR does for this class is increase the damage your summoners or summoned creatures can do. And out of all these summoned creatures, I forgot to mention, the one creature that does the most damage is the snake. This snake right here, the purple one with the head, does the most damage, followed by the golem that silences as well, and the tree. So I forgot to mention as well the second stage that the golem and the tree does. I did mention the wolf attacks in the second stage. The snake also attacks, and this second stage of the snake's damage deals the most damage. And then you have the tree. The second stage of the tree jumps and gives you super ammo. So that is how this class gains super ammo. Also, you can use this to escape from being stunned. I think I'm still not fully certain about that. And then you have the golem that silences the opponents. That is what the second stage of the golem does. So now that we know CDR does not affect skill cooldown, it only affects the damage of the summons. It is up to you if you want to go crazy with this, but I will only advise you go crazy on CDR depending on the other classes you main in this game. If you main an assassin and a soul dancer, then of course you can go crazy on CDR. If the other classes that you use are not favorable or do not care much about CDR, classes like the Reaper do not care that much about CDR, you can then ignore this. Do not go too crazy about this. One thing you can always count on is having a lot of armor penetration level. This will help you deal more damage in this game. Do not go too crazy with your defenses. You are a glass cannon and you will still die when you face a whale. It is what it is. That's just basically it. But this class can help you climb rating. What I mean by that is it can help you defeat opponents who are way stronger than you. And then in this section, just go for your water attack or elemental attack. Now let's jump right into the cores. The first and best build I will suggest for any class in this game, except the Blade Master probably, is to have 9 fire, 5 water, and 2 wind. Now, if you want to actually change this, you can go for the next build, which I'll suggest will be the 9 fire. Still, this is always useful. You can change 5 water into 5 wind, and then you have 2 water right here. I think that is amazing. Now let's talk about the talents of this class. I made 3 talent builds for this class on stream, and I tested it out in Battleground. I still fancied it a lot, and I think the builds are still okay. Now this is what worked for me, and I have proof about it from streams and testings and a lot of stuff. I don't know if it will be still useful maybe in a couple months or so if they patch the class, but if they do that, I will make a new video. If you haven't seen a new video, know that this build still works, okay, regardless of how long this video has been online. Now the first build is the PvE build. This is for dungeons and for DPS. Again, this is PvE, this is against monsters, and it's just to deal as much damage as possible. At the C level talent, we have this one that increases the damage of your first and second skills as much as possible. The B level talent, we do have the brush pine, which basically says every time you use this third skill, you have a chance to make it that instead of you receiving damage, you start dodging. That's basically what it does. I think I'm gonna use it or prove it over here, and you'll see that the tree makes us block. That is basically what it does. It's block that it becomes. There we go. So we have block and absorb. So that's basically what the B level talent does. It blocks damage and it absorbs damage with shield. Now, why did I put this in PvE? It's because I think the other talents are not as good for it. This reduces the damage the opponent deals, which I don't think really makes much sense in PvE. So instead of that, why not just block the damage and absorb the damage? This might help you survive a little more against deity's test or so if you do decide to use this class against bosses. Now for the A level talent, we have glaring predation, which increases your damage as well with the snake rather. Yeah, increase the damage with the snake. And then finally we have the S level talent, the black dragon scale shock, which increases your damage as well with the dragon. So this is pretty amazing, and it is pure damage. Now you can use this for PvP, but you are going to be dying a lot. Oh, then no, I'm gonna put this on myself. With this, remove that. Put some paint. I'm gonna use any jadis because why not? Oh yes, put the filter on me. Just put the filter on me. I saw it. Ah, but what can I do about it? Nothing. Come on. Die! Die! No! You are dead! That's cheating! No! That's cheating! Because the deep talent I built this with does not have stun or control or anything to help you survive. This is purely on damage. Now let's jump right into the deep talent. You can of course pause and just copy any of these. I'm going to keep quiet and increase the speed of this video now. Now if you notice, I increased this right here that reduces damage taken from players. I know I said this is for PvE or against monsters, but I had to do that because it was the only way I could to unlock this final one down here that increases your critical damage. Now we have the PvP 2 build. I think this build is also amazing, but it doesn't compare to our main build right here. With this build, I think you will do a lot well against some classes like the Dragon Rider. This might help you a lot more against classes like the Dragon Rider and stuff, but it won't do that well against some other classes like the Blade Master. So using this build against the Dragon Rider, you might defeat them a lot faster, or you would die. Yeah, I think that's it. But compared to the tank debuff, you will be able to, if you use this tank debuff build, you will be able to defeat the Dragon Rider a lot more, but it will take a lot longer to defeat them. That's basically the difference between these two. The C level talent is still for damage, but this was created or catered for PvP. And then we have the B level talent that makes you immune to crit when in Ink Harmony mode. Ink Harmony mode is basically when you activate this, you become immune to critical hits. So that is one very powerful skill. It is basically like a dust buster right here that makes you immune to crit as well. So with this, you are basically immune to crit almost always, especially if you tie this with the Dustbuster EX itself. Imagine being immune with Dustbuster and then being immune with this one again. When Dustbuster wears off, you are just always immune to critical hits, and in that way you receive less damage, basically because most people are built for critical and they increase their critical damage. So if they do not critical, they do not get a high critical damage, and the damage is subpar. The only thing is against classes like the Assassin who are crazy with multi-strike, that is the one you cannot avoid. But critical hit in this class is going to be lackluster. And then you have your A level talent, which basically just puts your opponent into a stun lock state or time lock state, and it's just to control them and help you deal more damage. So that is basically what this one does. And for the S level talent, you have layer dye. So what that means is when you activate this skill, you get invisibility and the duration of your skill is increased, so you deal more damage and stuff. That is all what it means. Now you can always change this S level talent from this one to this to help you stun your opponent some more by removing their super armor. This combined with this is amazing in PvP, but the problem is you are losing out on invisibility. So remember, I said this class is very squishy, so removing this invisibility will make you die a lot more. Now let's jump right into the deep talent for this build. Now you can see in this build I wasn't able to unlock any of this right here. I just felt like I had to better share the points between these ones and these ones. I had to unlock a lot of things to get it out, and this is also, it has some controls, but the control is nowhere as crazy as our main and the strongest build out of all of them so far. And here we have it, the tank debuff build. You can see it's a mixture of various colors, but this build, hear me out, is insane. First thing you will notice, the C level talent doesn't have the usual one we had for the others, which is this damage boost. We do have instead this one to reduce your skills cooldown. This will just help you spam your skills a lot more, and with this build, trust me, you want to be spamming your skills as much as possible. Now for the B level talent, we do have the immune to crit steal, which is amazing and makes you tanky, but the one big difference is the A level talent poisoned burn, which doesn't look like much when you read it. This is where it comes by. If you remember, we actually deal about 55 million damage with one hit from our serpent, and just look at my health. I have 170 million health right here, and 55 million of this is almost half of my health. And think about doing that every 9 to 10 seconds, probably lower than that, thanks to the ability to reduce our skill cooldown. And now imagine this reducing all that 170 million health by 30% and then dealing that much damage with our serpent. It's going to be crazy. This can help you zap your opponent's health a lot. And then we have the S level talent for more tankiness, for this invisibility and stuff, which is crazy. So this class, or rather this build, after testing over and over, was able to defeat the Dragon Rider. The Dragon Rider who's stronger than us. Shout out to you K9 for helping us through the test. Stronger than us, and was adapting to our playstyle. We were able to defeat them with this build like about 70 to 80% of the time. We were able to defeat a 400,000 stronger opponent with this build compared to any of the other builds. Come on, I still got stunned.
Alright, now we're using it. Now we're using it. Oh my god! Oh my god! What was that? What was that? What was that? No freaking way! No freaking way! Stop stunning me! Stop stunning me! I have to win this! Am I lagging? I'm lagging. I'm lagging. Screw the lag. Alright. I'm lagging. Ah, no. Can I stop running from me? Stop adapting to my strategy. I shouldn't have said my strategy out loud. We won! We won! We freaking won!
That's it for this build. Let's check out the deep talent. Alright, and in this build you can see I actually went ahead and unlocked this damage taken from players reduced, basically because I want this to be as tanky as possible. You might think 0.6% is not much, but it stacks up to 10 times, and in the long run with every other buff, this can be quite annoying. But for now I only have it at 3. I would like to get this as high as possible. And also, if you notice, I didn't unlock this. I would love to unlock this, but this class, or rather this build, it cares about stunning and piling up the damage in time and just, you know, wombo comboing through all of that. It's not something that I'll just hit once and get over with, so that's why I didn't go for this one. That is it for the deep talent. If you want to see actual practicals using the deep talent, you can check out the stream where I actually practice all of this with my buddy Kirito. The link for that will be in the description of this video and probably in the comment section, the pinned comment of this video. Now let's jump into the EX. Now, one thing you need to know that between these two EXs, it is based on the build of your class. Now, if you want to go for pure damage and stuff, definitely use this coiled dragon right here. I suggest you use this for PvE. This is amazing in PvE. This can also be helpful in PvP as well, but I am going to be using it for PvE. And then, if you want to go for the second build, this is the Iron Forest. This is great for PvP as well. But there's one thing you need to know before you choose and decide properly. Let's look at the skills again. Remember, I told you what the skills do. You have your tiger or wolf, and then you have your snake. These two right here are tied to the coiled dragon, that is this EX right here. Now, if you see, I use the EX right now, and because I summoned this and this, the EX appears right here and I can now use it. So your EX will affect the summons you use the most. If you are going to be using the Coiled Dragon EX, you need to be tapping on these two skills. And a big proof of that is if I bring out the golem and the tree, it doesn't appear at all. So that is basically what you need to know. Now, but if I am using this Iron Forest EX right here, you do need to use the golem and the tree. The skills you will use or focus more on will depend on the EX as well, so you need to take note about that. This is a defensive EX, so you need your golem and your tree to be around to help you a lot more before you can use the defensive EX. Now, as for other EXs, I have tested amongst all of them, and I can say Dustbuster is the most valuable for now. It just feels like it was made for this class, so I think Dustbuster is great. Now, some other EXs you can use, an example is Royal Fire. Shout out to my buddy Kama for suggesting this. You can use Royal Fire to just make sure you do not get stunned because of the super armor it provides to you, but it is not as great as Dustbuster. Dustbuster is a lot better than every other EX you can choose here. Now, of course, you can use Minefield if you plan on going damage, or if you are in dungeons, of course you can use Minefield. It's going to be pretty useful as well. Now, let's talk about the allies for this class. I think there are two options you can choose for allies in this class. The first option is if you want an ally that reduces the damage you receive. So you need to find an ally that says in the passive section, reduces damage sustained by a certain percentage. Now, this one does it by 2%, but I believe there's an ally that can reduce it as high as 5% when upgraded to this same state. So this is one ally you can use in the damage reduction section if you want to go tanky. Now if you want to go for damage and deal as much damage as possible, you need to use an ally that increases the damage you deal. And an example of this ally is, I believe, Eri. Yes, Eri Usagi increases characters' critical damage by 15%. Now, is this going to be great in this current meta, especially with the Inkmancer that reduces or negates critical? I don't know. So you can either look for an ally that does a lot more damage for you by increasing the damage you deal, which an example of that is basically College Eri that increases the damage you deal. Or you can find one that increases critical damage if you are certain you will be able to critical on the opponent. So which one do you want? Damage increase, damage reduction? I'm going for damage reduction because I believe it works a lot well with this class, and specifically Shavi as an ally triggers a lot, especially if she is your main ally. Now for support ally, you can choose other allies depending on what you want. Now I'm using Ming Zulu right here because it gives me crazy buffs. I've explained this basically in the live stream. You can just go check that out as well. I wrote it down there in the live stream, in the comment section of the live stream, because I don't want to talk too much about it right now. I feel this video is already way too long. So anyway, basically use an ally that will help you. Now just what I would say to summarize everything is your main ally's passive should be what you should focus on, because that is the only ally that their passive will work for you. Your support allies or other allies that are going to be around you, what is going to work for you from them will be their ultimates. So the ultimate of your support allies should be useful and should be what you look forward to. Meanwhile, your main ally should have a nice ultimate and a great passive, a passive that you know you want. Now let's talk about gears. In gears here, we're going to be talking about three things. Before any other thing, I'm going to tell you, you should go to the range section of your Draconic and make sure you are using Whispers of the Ancient God, because this Draconic is going to help you unlock the true strength of your EX right here. Without it, none of your EX will reach their max or final tier. Only this Draconic can help you reach that final tier and unlock those extra benefits. Now if you have it, please use it. If you do not have it, you can always try get it from the store. It's not that expensive, but with time you will be able to get it. Now if you do not want to use it, it's no problem. You can use any other Draconic, but this is just an advice, it's just a suggestion. Now let's talk about the sets that this class can use. I believe this set right here is the best set for this class: 6 yellow and 4 red. Now another thing you can use instead of the 6 yellow is this 6 purple, but I don't value this one that much, basically because it just increases your damage, and only the 6-piece effect is amazing. I mean, imagine dealing 900,000 damage when you can actually freeze an opponent and they'll be unable to move for like 3 seconds. Imagine having free 3 seconds time to spam damage on your opponent. You're going to deal way more than 900,000 damage with that if this procs. So that's my reason for this. Now people might be thinking of using this blue set. I say go ahead and use it if you want to, but I do not think it is made for this class. This ability of the 6-piece that guarantees you will not take critical hit has already been covered for this class by the B-level talent, and has also been covered by Dustbuster, so I do not think you should worry about that. Now for 7 scenes, I think Pride is amazing because it helps you remove your opponent's super armor and their buffs, and can also help you stun your opponent. Now any other 7 scene I suggest is like Filth, because you are able to keep stunning, and Dustbuster might help you throw your opponent left and right by knocking them back. Also the EX can knock back your opponent, which will help Filth deal damage to your opponent. Also some people might be running away from you depending on what class people decide to use against this class, so this will help you bleed them. Now I think this is surprisingly a 7 scene you can use with this class. I won't suggest this for whales. If you know you are in the top 50 or top 30 of your server, facing any other person weaker than you, do not bother using this EX. Instead you can go with Wrath right here and just one it kill your opponent quickly. You do not have, the good part about this is you do not have to worry too much about your health, because you are also always going to lose your health, but the fact is you do have some immunity shields that can help you cover up for the health you've lost with this one. Now let's talk about Cocoon. The one Cocoon I would suggest is what I have on right here: 6 greens. I don't care what you put right here. You could put 4 red, you could put 4 blues or whatever, that is your choice. but 6 green is a must with this class. If for nothing else, it is because of the buff of damage you receive. Heck, if you do not even want this 20% increase in damage, then I think you would love the ability to execute your opponent once their health is 15%. Basically, you have a chance to instantly kill your opponent when you get their health low, and with this class it is very possible to do that. And I think that's basically it. I've talked so much from night to day. I thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope this has helped you understand the Inkmancer class as much as possible. I know it was a little long and I apologize for that. Now if you have any questions, comments, suggestions or requests, please drop them around there in the comment section. I read all of them and I'll respond to you if needed, or make a video if necessary. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. I appreciate all of them, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time, no.